Uh, "2024, baby. We are inside of you right now. Welcome, finally, to the 2024 New Year, New Us edition of the Three Man Rush podcast. And I know there's three, right? You're thinking Three Man Rush. Why is there four of you? Because we have a very special guest on the show today from Fantasy and Frames, the one, the only, Chris Battistel. What is going on? And
journalist.
Jared, look.
Nailed it.
Yeah, that's what we do. If you are joining us for the first time, first off, I don't know how you found us, but we appreciate it. I'm your host, Landon Oliver. You can find me over at the Blue Stable. Some of you might be familiar with my work over there, especially as draft season creeps up. We got my boy below, Big Jared Holly, DFS and gambling extraordinaire.
Don't say those words.
It's true, though.
You could just say degenerate too. It's all the same.
Yes.
Just leave it at that.
Yeah. Are you ready? And then, of course, my other co-host, Big Drew, the fantasy guy, Chris's colleague over at Fantasy and Frames. He's the one that set this up, so we appreciate that. And without further ado, the NFL playoffs are here, finally, starting this weekend. The season's over, reluctantly. It flew by. And like it always does.
Quick round the horn. Is y'all's teams in the playoffs?
Yes.
Chris, your team in the playoffs?
No.
No. Jared, Landon.
No.
Oh
no, they missed it.
Hey, good news is you guys can root for the Rams, so it's okay because we're back, baby.
In a World Series though, so he's okay.
Yeah, I've already won all sports.
I'm still 0-4 in everything. Everything that I root for sucks. So
2023 was rough. It was.
That I root for.
Just overall the year in general, but the Rangers won the World Series, so I got that, and we got the Pop-Tart mascot memes. At the end of the year, so it was a win.
It's an overall win.
Yeah.
2024 is off to a great start already. We got guys jumping over judges' benches and all sorts of crazy shit.
Yeah, it's wild.
Bro, there's been some good Photoshop with that.
Like the Troy Polamalu. That was a good one.
Yeah, the meme dream is alive.
That shit would have never happened to Judge Judy.
No.
But like I said, playoffs are here. If you're on the show, if you're listening to this show, we are here to give you our playoff preview like we do every year. And if you did not know, the show is 100% accurate. We have a 100% hit rate on every pick. So, Chris, don't fuck this up.
No pressure.
Yeah, zero pressure. But yeah, so Drew, I'm going to let you take us through what you got pulled up here on the screen.
1 second. Did anybody go back to our prediction show at the beginning of the year?
We don't talk about that.
I don't even remember how it
went. What prediction show?
There was one.
We did one?
Did we do
100%?
I know one thing. I didn't go back and read. I was hoping to God one of you guys did, but I'm lazy and I didn't do it. But I did say the Steelers would make the playoffs. I remember that.
Yeah, there you go. 100% correct. Of the takes we can remember, we didn't miss a single one. So
to be fair, I also did say the Titans would miss the playoffs. So I am
good call.
You could insert that take for you, copy and paste it next year, the year after that, the year after that.
especially after they fired Mike Vrabel today. Fantastic.
We haven't even talked about that. We haven't even talked about what's been going on.
Yeah, exactly. It's fantastic.
It is New Year, New Us. We just skipped right to the topic of the show without any bullshit in the front, that's not like us at all.
No.
Why are they firing Mike Vrabel?
Money.
Ooh.
No,
Yeah,
that's
it's
what-
got to be
that's
a
what-
mutual thing, right? He's gotta know
Well,
that
there's
Patriots
reports
job's
coming out
coming
that
up.
they were wanting to make some adjustments to salary, and he was like, "No," and they're like, "Okay, well, thank you for your service." One of those
See you
kind of
later.
things.
I don't know the exact reason. I'm glad it happened.
I saw
He's a good
something about different philosophies between the new GM and
Yeah.
Vrabel. Like, Vrabel doesn't want to blow it up. He wants to keep trying to acquire veterans, and the rest of the front office wants to blow it up. But
It's
man,
time.
I
think
feel like the only thing Vrabel has done wrong for that team is he just keeps making them overachieve and getting worse draft picks than they should. Like, that team should have been picking a lot higher in the draft the last couple of years than they have. And I feel like a lot of that is just because of how good of a coach Vrabel is. So it's like, hey, Mike, you need to go be good somewhere else. We need to suck for a little bit. So
he goes to the Patriots.
I think so, man. If they let go of Bill, I mean, that still isn't a done deal yet either. I know it's kind of
And like
assumed
the
that it's
good
gonna
news
happen,
too. I think the really good news for the Titans though in this is like if they do want to continue on like the New England, like that tree and stuff, like Josh McDaniels is available.
but-
So I think that would be a fantastic addition to that franchise. It's
Great.
right in line of everything that they stand for.
Signed every other Colts fan. I'm sure they all are right on board with you on that. I saw you victory lapping them firing Vrabel. How happy you were about it, which I can't blame you. If I was a fan of a team in that division, other
Anytime
than
you can
Titans,
get rid
I'd
of
be
one of the
happy
top
to.
10 coaches in the league, like
You got to do it.
yeah, it's
Gotta
fantastic.
do it.
Samuel L. Jackson said that it was time to talk about the Rams coaching situation earlier this year. Like he wanted McVay can, so
Yeah,
nobody's off limits, man.
Yeah, this is almost better than when they traded AJ Brown for nothing.
Vrabel's on record. He did not want.
No,
that to
he
happen.
was pissed about
No,
that. That
was
was kind of
irate.
my point earlier. I saw somebody talking about that earlier, and Vrabel just hasn't been able to keep the offense going, and he's not an offensive minded coach. And it's if offensive minded coaches, or if a guy that's not an offensive minded coach, if they don't produce a decent offense, they're going to be out the door. It's like, well, I mean, whenever you trade away one of the top 5 receivers in the NFL for Treylon Burks, just so you can pay Ryan Tannehill and a running back instead, I wonder why the offense struggled. Like that doesn't feel like a puzzle that's that hard to figure out.
And what's funny about that whole like argument is like he had that offense with AJ Brown, Derrick Henry, Ryan
They were
Tannehill.
humming.
They were top 10 offense in the league, like
Yeah.
both those years. And then the GM just kind of shit the bed there, and of course they fired him last year. But yeah, now they're just piling on, which I mean it's cool for me. So like this is. I think I read something earlier, since their new owner, like Amy Adams Strunk or whatever I think that's her name.
Sounds like a sitcom actress.
Seinfeld character. Since she took over in 2015, they've already went through 2 GMs and 2 GMs and like 3 head coaches now already since 2015.
Bang up job.
Jesus, man.
Crazy.
Well done.
Crazy.
Well, speaking of, talking about teams that actually did have success this year, let's just go through it matchup by matchup. We'll just start in the top left and work our way around. So
We can skip the top left. I don't want to talk about that.
why? This is intriguing, man. You got the best team in the
Premier
AFC
matchup.
South, and Mr. Elite Joe Flacco bringing the Browns back. At least it's not the man who shall not be named bringing the Browns to the Super Bowl. Like Joe Flacco is a lot more fun than that. So
It's true.
at least we
What
got that
a
going for
story.
us.
As an old guy, I appreciate it.
That's an old guy.
Well, you and Joe Flacco are probably about the same age.
I know. That's the reason why I love when he beats these young quarterbacks, man. Yeah,
1 point for the old guy.
that's right. It's like Brady doing it for years. I'm like, God, this is fun. This is so much fun.
So we'll just start at the top, work our way down. Landon, what do you think about this game that you don't want to talk about? I'm gonna force you to talk about it anyway.
Houston and Cleveland. First off, should have been us. Will be next year. Anthony Richardson healthy. Hope Houston enjoys this while they can. But I will say, actually, like, I would much rather watch the Houston Texans than I would have watched the Jacksonville Jaguars in this game.
Yeah,
Just
I
because,
agree.
like, I can't watch the Jaguars defense or Trevor Lawrence. I like it's just, especially because he's been hurt too. But like, it's just it's a mess. So I actually am a big fan of CJ Stroud. I love CJ Stroud. I like D'Amico
Mhm.
Ryans. Obviously, on my dynasty roster, I love my Nico Collins shares. So last week was like bittersweet because it's like I watched Nico Collins be the only viable wide receiver on that roster. Like he shredded us.
Yeah, the
But
Colts had no interest in covering
yeah, zero.
Nico.
It's like, oh, you got to
First
cover
play.
one guy for the whole game, and that's the one guy they didn't cover. So that's awesome. The good news is it was Nico Collins, so I was like watching it, like, oh yeah, this is hot, man. My dynasty is great. Coming off an undefeated season, I might go back to back. I might not lose again ever.
Ever.
Yeah, ever. So I was like, yeah, this is great. But this is a very intriguing matchup because Cleveland just, I mean, that defense just by itself is just like a buzzsaw. Like they're just ridiculous on defense. Fantastic
Mhm.
team. And they're going to, it's a little bit different than playing the Colts defense. So it's, I mean, I wonder where Houston is like with their health of like their roster because they were missing some offensive line pieces. Obviously, they were without their like number 2, 3, and 4 wide receivers in that game. So like those guys
Yep.
are going to have to get like it's not going to be like Nico Collins bombs away all day long. Like, I mean, and he's not going to have the kind of time that he had in that Colts game either. Like those guys are coming. So this is what I'm really curious about is like to see like how CJ Stroud handles like his first playoff experience against a really strong defensive opponent because Cleveland's offense on the other side, I'm still waiting for like the come back to earth Joe Flacco, but playoff Flacco is like a real thing. Like once that dude gets into the playoffs,
Yeah.
man, like he's just
Historically great.
yeah, like it's just crazy. So I think this is a very intriguing matchup. Are we picking winners for this?
Oh yeah, every
Yeah.
game, all the way to the Super Bowl, baby.
We don't
As
pick
much as, I hate,
losers.
as much as I would love,
We don't pick losers.
yeah, bro. Like as much as I would love CJ Stroud to like advance, like I just think this is going to be a little bit too much for him. You know, first playoff game. I'm not saying like he's going to like not perform well or anything like that. Like he's too good to
Yeah.
just completely shit the bed. But playoffs, it's a whole different season. It's a different animal. And this Cleveland Browns team, they have a lot of guys with a lot of really good playoff experience, especially, of course, at the quarterback, former Super Bowl champion,
Yep.
leading the charge there, and Kevin Stefanski, who got my vote for Coach of the Year. Yeah, I'm going to take Cleveland in this one.
All right, Chris B, how you feeling?
Hey, you've been
Yeah,
quiet,
Cleveland. Yeah, Cleveland, great pick there. I'm excited to see what Jim Schwartz does, the defensive coordinator for the Browns, against CJ Stroud in his rookie year. First playoff game, rookie head coach with D'Amico Ryans there. It's one of the more intriguing matchups of Saturday, considering, but the Chiefs and Dolphins being on Peacock, not up in Canada though, so I don't got to worry about that one. But for me, for that game, it's just going to be, you know, the team that has the ball last, the team that scores last is going to end up being the winner. I don't think it's going to be a blowout on either end. Both teams are going to play good defensively. Both teams can actually implode from the quarterback position out as well, because as good as Joe Flacco's been, is the Houston defense has been pretty good this year, taking away the ball. We've known Joe Flacco can throw a good pick or two. So
Yeah,
pick a winner in this one. It's tough, man. I'm gonna go Cleveland, man. As much as I want to pick the rookie quarterback there, I'm gonna go Browns. at least for the first week, only because of what they're going to be able to do defensively against the rookie quarterback. And no weather there, so weather shouldn't be a play for that game.
Yeah, I agree. I'm taking Cleveland as well. This is a victory lap game for me because our NFL draft reaction episode, whenever CJ Stroud got drafted, I said that the ceiling to him for me is like Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, and not looking too bad after his first season so far. And I've gotten a lot of quarterbacks wrong over the years. I missed on Herbert. I missed on Josh Allen, among just some recent names that come to mind. So, it feels good to win.
Trey Lance.
I'm still not taking the L on Trey Lance. I'm not giving up, man. The man's played like 3 games. I'm not giving up.
Desmond Ritter.
Yeah, bro.
Not a loss until you
That whole
sell.
quarterback class was terrible. So,
I know.
him being my favorite quarterback in that class wasn't too much of a reach. But I've had some huge misses at quarterback over the years. So, Carson Wentz, it's a big Carson Wentz guy. That looked good about for like 3/4 of a season that year. He would have won MVP if he wouldn't have got hurt. But outside of that, it's pretty rough, So.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think it's 2 good offenses and 1 good defense, and that good defense is not on Houston's side. And so whenever it comes down to it, I just think Cleveland's going to put up a few more points than Houston will. And with how good Flacco's playing, man, it's tough. If Cleveland's offense was sputtering a little bit and it was Houston's offense versus Cleveland's defense just across the board, and we didn't have to worry about as much Cleveland's offense, I'd probably take Houston at home. But since Cleveland looks more competent on both sides of the ball, I got to go with them. But Jared, how you feel about the game?
It's a tough one. It's really tough. I'm going Stroud. I think Houston pulls it off. They're at home. It's first time in a long time. I think only the second time in franchise history to have a home playoff game. I could be wrong on that. It's the only second one I can recall them having a home game. I think Flacco, he's played well, but he's 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. It's not like he's completely out there, Joe Montana.
Playing perfect, no mistake ball, yeah.
Right. Both teams are really. I think Cleveland has a better defense, but with the home field, I'm taking Stroud, man. I think he's the better of the 2 quarterbacks.
Agree.
And I think the home field does mean something in this one. They pull off. Yeah, I think they're a favorite by Vegas odds just because they're a home team, but they're an underdog in my opinion. I'm going with Texans.
Yeah, I don't know what the spread is, but I mean, if it's anything less than like 3.5, a lot of times you get 3. A lot of times you get 3 points just for being the home team, so they could still be the underdog even if they are technically favored. But I mean, a lot of times, man, in the playoffs, it really can come down to who has the better quarterback and who has home field. So it's not going to shock me if Houston does pull it out. I was going to do 4 separate brackets for all of us and throw them up on the screen, but that's going to take too much clicking. So we're just going to do consensus. And so since 3 out of the 4 of us pick Cleveland's moving on to the next round for this one.
Cleveland's 2.5 point favorites.
Yeah.
Field goal.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Houston's an underdog, man, at home. So that's kind of wild to think about, but I get it though. I mean, 3 out of the 4 of us just picked Cleveland to win. So, all right. A little bit more an interesting storyline here. Tyreek's return to Kansas City. Landon, how you feel about Miami after what we just saw from them to close the season, going into Kansas City, considering what we saw from them as well to close the season? How you feel about this game?
Well, I don't feel good about really either team.
Right.
Miami is dealing with some injury issues there. And I mean, to me, it's just kind of simple. Because one team has Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and the other team doesn't. And, that's really what it comes down to. These are guys that are just about as seasoned as you can get. And, Patrick Mahomes' still very young career, which is kind of weird to think about. This is only his 5th or 6th season. And he's already a 2-time Super Bowl champion. He's a guy that, he shows up in the playoffs. He shows up in big moments. And Miami, there's just something about Tua, something about that roster. I know Tua's been really good and all that, but I still just don't trust him to, like, whenever your quarterback has to make a play, I just don't trust Tua to be the guy that, like, makes that play. Like, it's much more indicative of, like, his wide receivers making the play or his coaches coming up and making, a fantastic play call to get guys open. It's not so much as, like, Tua making something happen. And, like, I might get shit for that. I don't care, whatever. But
sounds like he might be somewhat of a system quarterback, maybe.
it happens.
It sounded almost like the
90% of the league.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, like, every quarterback's a system quarterback, but
I'm not gonna get us into that. I just had to have some fun.
Yeah.
With that.
Please don't.
Last time we did the system quarterback thing, we went for 3 hours.
Oh God, it's just I hate that term.
I know you do. I know.
But yeah, I'm gonna take Andy Reid. I'm gonna take Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Chiefs at home in Arrowhead.
Yeah, that's another factor too. Good point, Chris.
Yeah, that's big factor there. I'm gonna roll with the Chiefs as well. For me, it comes down to whether or not the Miami Dolphins are gonna have Raheem Mostert dressed. Are they gonna have Jalen Waddle dressed? Two important pieces for the Dolphins. For their offense in particular, we know how good the Chiefs' defense can be. They played each other in November, I believe it was, early November. Tyreek Hill, 8 catches, 62 yards in that game. So the Chiefs can slow down Tyreek Hill. They're going to know how to do that. It's up to whether or not the Miami Dolphins are going to show the Kansas City Chiefs something different from what they showed them either on tape late in the season for the Dolphins, which hasn't been good, or from that game in November there. So for me, it's Chiefs at home. As cool as the storyline is going to be with Tyreek Hill coming back into KC and playing against his old team, I just don't think the Miami Dolphins has enough. And we've seen them struggle against bad teams throughout the season as well. So, and at the back end of the season, they haven't looked good. It's really going to come down to if they can slow down Kansas City, which hasn't been that hot offensively. They haven't been scoring a ton of points either. Their offense has been kind of slow as well. Travis Kelce slowed right down. There's no other real outside of maybe Rashee Rice pass catchers that are going to be able to catch the ball for the Chiefs. So it's really going to come down to for the Dolphins, are they going to have Mostert? Are they going to have Waddle? Can they put together a game plan where they're going to be able to get the ball to someone outside of Tyreek Hill? So I don't think they're going to be able to do it. I'm going to roll with the experience, and I'm going to roll with the Chiefs as well.
Yeah, Landon basically took the words out of my mouth, because whenever this game got to me, I was going to, especially for the first round, my question was going to be, which team has Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid? And that in the playoffs, and especially the first round of the playoffs, and they're at home. I'm not about to bet against Mahomes and Reid in the playoffs at home, especially the first round. Like, I'm not going to be the guy to pick them to get bounced in the first round in the playoffs.
And they rested last week too, right? Mahomes and Kelce.
Yeah,
they did.
Yep. And they Lord knows they need it, because Mahomes and Kelce, and like you said, Rashee Rice are going to have a ton on their plate if the offense wants to be productive, because I think the rest of their receiving core has more drop passes than touchdown receptions.
They lead the NFL.
They lead the NFL in drop passes. So Lord knows Mahomes is going to need a lot of help from Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce, because the rest
too, man.
A lot of Pacheco just stomping the ground into oblivion.
Runs like the beach sand's hot.
Yeah, he does. He does. So, yeah, I'm going Kansas City as well. Jared, is it a clean sweep, or are you going to shock the world?
No shocker here. 9 degrees. I have Isaiah Pacheco. Nobody wants to hit that guy. Yeah, it's an easy one.
You said it's going to be 9 degrees?
9 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
To me, that's automatically, it's over at that point. To a 9-degree temperature, like, I don't think it's going to be high scoring though. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of offense in this game.
Yeah, Miami doesn't have that.
Has Miami beat a team with a winning record this year?
They beat Dallas.
Okay, so yeah, so 1.
Yeah, that's it. And Miami doesn't have the home field advantage of getting to put the visiting sideline in 150 degree temperatures in this game either. So they don't got
that
that
loss
going
last
for them
week
either.
hurt them so much against the Bills,
It
man. It
did.
cost them a lot of, it could cost them the first round, could cost them the playoffs.
Yeah, because they instead of playing Kansas City, they'd get to play the Pittsburgh Steelers, who the Buffalo Bills get to play instead. Somehow the
In
Steelers,
Miami too, it would have been.
yeah,
I thought they would have played Buffalo again if they would have won.
would they not have been the
I think-
2 seed?
Yeah, they would have been the 2 seed.
Yeah, but Buffalo would have been the 7 seed, or I can't remember. Yeah,
Oh,
because
would they have been?
Miami would have won the division, and Buffalo would have been the last wild card. Or
Okay.
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, so they would have played them at home again. They basically
Gotcha.
would have had a
Well,
But still, I mean,
there goes my segue that I thought I cooked up real quick on the fly there.
sorry, bro.
That's okay
Thank
though.
Chris
It's still the next game
Collinsworth
we're
for
going to talk
explaining
about.
to me on Sunday Night Football. I mean,
Now
Dishonoring
here-
your family.
Now here's a guy.
now here's a guy.
But nonetheless, regardless of my segues or not, the Steelers don't care about that. Somehow they always continue to slide their way into the playoffs as the 6 or 7 seed whenever everybody knows they don't belong and they're going to get bounced and they're going to get trounced. And so, Landon, are you a believer? Is Mason Rudolph going to take this thing? Is Kenny Pickett? I don't know who's even playing quarterback. I haven't been paying attention to their health
That's
situation.
Mason Rudolph, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
It makes no difference. It's the same person.
Yeah,
they're all the same guy. It's a room full of quarterbacks that are all the same person.
that's what's crazy, man. It's kind of what we were talking about with Mike Vrabel earlier. It's like that's the double-edged sword of having Mike Tomlin as your head coach.
Yeah.
Is because like your roster is not good. Like they're missing TJ Watt in this game,
Yep.
Yeah.
which is
I
like a
know
huge
that.
storyline. And somehow they still find a way to make it into the playoffs with a winning record. Like, and everybody knows like this is a team that needs like a reset. Like,
They
they
need a quarterback.
They need
Yeah.
a quarterback. I mean, they're set outside of quarterback. Man.
yeah, well, I think
They got some holes on the defense a little bit. That secondary is kind of Swiss cheese, but
well, they
Running
drafted
game
Porter.
solid. Receiving
Porter's
core
still
solid.
young, so like
yeah,
he'll
Porter's been good. But
But even then, I mean, I will say like Najee Harris has actually been playing a lot better here recently.
Jalen Warren's good too. That's a two-headed monster.
yeah, they got
Yeah.
a good running back tandem.
Yeah,
That's part of why they're in the
because they're
playoffs.
actually
Lord knows it's
utilizing
not a
him
passing game.
in a scheme that actually works to his strengths. Like it's kind of weird. Matt Canada's gone, so yeah,
Like,
it's I'll never understand like drafting a guy like that and then having him run like gap zone. Like it's just like it's like what did he fail at in college? Let's make him run this in the NFL.
Yeah, here's
You
a whole big helping of it.
Yeah, exactly.
These
And
two
so like
teams
immediately
both
they
fired their
went
offensive
to a
coordinator.
better scheme that fits what he did in college. And everybody's like, oh man, Najee Harris is playing good. It's like, who would have
Yeah, hey.
thought?
Hey, did you just say Landon, or did I maybe misunderstood you? But if not, I want to make the point. Didn't both these teams fire their offensive coordinators?
Yep.
They did. Yeah.
They did.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
That's whenever the Bills turned around.
Yeah. So
happened
like
too.
so
It
when
was
they
it was
fired-
a mi- it
yeah,
was a mix of like them
they
firing their
fired Ken
OC
Dorsey. Yeah,
and
so they
that
fired
story
Ken
getting
Dorsey.
leaked about Sean
Oh.
McDermott's questionable
Like,
motivational
okay,
tactics.
Yeah. Raising Al Qaeda.
What's that story? Once that story got leaked, they turned up. Man, I mean,
Once he converted
They got
to
very
Islam, it's been
motivated.
over.
I still can't believe that's real, man. I
That's great.
I was
I
was looking-
like Al Qaeda did on 9/11.
was like, man, this had to be a story from The Onion. Like, there's no way this is a real.
My
thing.
favorite part of that
Real
whole thing
story.
too. My favorite part of that whole thing is everybody thought it was fake, and the next day he comes out and apologizes and confirms it. And I was like, "This is like, there's no way. This is great.
This must see TV, man.
The
Like,
NFL, baby."
I can't. And he didn't come up with that on the fly. Like, he was in his
No.
home office the night before. Like, I'm cooking right now.
He was
Right?
watching
He's
the-
in love.
he was watching like a documentary, and like he was watching the two planes hit the towers, and he was like, "That's some teamwork right there."
Look at that teamwork. Look how they did that.
Those guys will run through a wall for me if I just
If those
They would
guys will
fly-
run into a building
They
for
would
them.
fly through a building.
Christ almighty.
Oh my god, dude, that's awful.
Yeah, so they fired Ken Dorsey,
Terrible.
and he ends up going 6-1 since they changed offensive coordinators. Buffalo does. So, yeah, it's unfortunate for Pittsburgh because like you said, like they're not like a total loss of talent. Obviously,
No.
they've got some good pieces, but they do lack the one piece you need in the playoffs. Like it always comes down in the playoffs. It comes down to coaching and it comes down to quarterback. 90% of the time, unless the roster between the teams is just a stark difference. And I don't think there's like a huge stark difference between Buffalo's roster and Pittsburgh's roster.
No, you take the two quarterbacks off the team, and
yeah, exactly. Like you put Josh Allen on Pittsburgh and you put Mason Rudolph on Buffalo, and
I'm picking the Steelers to win this game.
Yeah. I don't honestly think the Bills even make the playoffs, but yeah, I'm gonna take Josh Allen and people, crap on him for the turnovers and all that. Like that dude's accounted for like 44 touchdowns this year. 44.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, I can't believe he turned the ball over again. It's like, look, I'll give you a couple turnovers if you're giving me 4 touchdowns a game. Like, yeah. I mean,
you got some room for error at that point.
Yeah.
So same people never watched Brett Favre play football, obviously.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm going with Josh Allen, man. I really do think and what's crazy is like this Bills team at one point they like had a 500 record, and they were like third in the NFL in DVOA, total team DVOA, which is like a good metric for like the strength of a team and roster and stuff. So even whenever they weren't even in the playoffs, like this team rated high. Like the only time anything crazier like that for them, like if they didn't make the playoffs, the craziest stat I still think to this day, I was thinking about this the other day. I was driving down the road and I was thinking about Buffalo, and I was like, man, like I'm so glad they made the playoffs because it
was funny to me.
Yeah, I mean, like driving down the road, and I was just thinking about like
Buffalo Bills.
The Bills game, and I was
like,
I did and I'll never forget the San Diego Chargers missing the playoffs. They had the number 1 offense and the number 1 defense in the NFL. And they had the 32nd ranked special teams. They missed the playoffs with the number 1 offense and number 1 defense. And I still think that's the craziest thing ever. But this is kind of like the same thing where it's like, man, like the Bills, they just had some like bad luck. And so it's kind of cool to see them like, I don't know how this team
Landon, at the start of the show, you said, if you found us, I don't know how you did. Here's one origin story.
Yeah, hey, that's how you get a following, man. We appreciate it, Boston
I
Brawler.
fell asleep and randomly think my thumb hit this. Hi, well, good morning to you, Boston Brawler. Appreciate you tuning in, man.
There's some coffee here for a long one.
So it's so funny to hear like how the Bills are like, man, like this team's 500. They might not even make the playoffs, and they find they're the 2 seed. And they won the AFC East.
I know.
Wild. So this is a long-winded like whole thing to say I'm taking the Buffalo Bills in this game.
Chris, you gonna go with the upset of the decade or what?
As much as I want to, and I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are the team that can probably put together a game plan that can take whatever Buffalo does strong away from them. And we've seen that when Buffalo made the offensive coordinator change, Stephon Diggs has gone completely just ghosted every fantasy manager around that stretch. His yard per target was cut completely in half ever since that change. So they're going to need Stephon Diggs this week, I believe, to beat the Steelers. Steelers, of course, AFC North, not afraid of cold weather football. Neither are the Buffalo Bills. I really wish TJ Watt was playing in this game. I think he'd be the game changer for them on defense. But as we've seen, if Josh Allen throws 2 picks this game and the Pittsburgh Steelers can turn around, win the time of possession battle, and just beat them on the ground with the 2 running backs that they have, keep the game close. If they got possession last, I can definitely see a situation where the Pittsburgh Steelers win this game. But I'm picking the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, and for my pick, I will just let Boston Brawler answer for me. There you go. That is also
nobody circles the wagon.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's essentially how I'm feeling as well. But hey, kudos to Pittsburgh for even making the playoffs again in the first place. Mike Tomlin just continues to get these guys to overachieve, and it just blows my fucking mind year after year.
Where would they have been if they put Mason Rudolph in the whole year?
Yeah, right. Maybe they'd be the 60 instead. That's about as high up as I'm going, though. But
yeah, you know,
he might have worn out his welcome and somebody swung a helmet at him again.
I need Pittsburgh to win and then Cleveland to advance and those two teams to face each other in the playoffs, so we can get a Mason Rudolph revenge game. But yeah, no, I'm taking Buffalo as well. Jared, clean sweep. we're moving on. All right, going to the NFC side before we get into the AFC divisional round.
It's a hot divisional round, man.
This first game is a lot more interesting. Like, if you would have told me this was the matchup in the first round a month ago, I would have been like, oh, okay, like no big deal. Philly's got that, easy work. And now I'm not. It's a lot more interesting today than it would have been a month or two ago. So, Landon, what do you think about Philly and Tampa?
Man, it's so crazy to watch the talent that the Eagles have on offense and on defense, really, but more specifically on offense. Like, I mean, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, like the running back room is like 3 deep. The offensive line's phenomenal. Jalen Hurts, and it's so crazy to watch them find a way to like misuse all of those guys like at the same time. It's just crazy. And it goes to show you just how important coaching is, because Shane Steichen, bro, Gardner Minshew should not have even sniffed being close to a playoff shot. And somehow, bro, like they did, like obviously they didn't win. I won't talk about that for the next hour, but yeah,
they're also missing their best offensive player majority of the season too. The Colts.
Yeah, that's true. They didn't have JT all year, pretty much all year.
Anthony Richardson.
He played 4 games and got hurt in 3 of them. But
yeah.
But they really didn't have him. But man, he looked good whenever
he was
out there.
Let me tell you. Let's go. That's gonna be hot.
I was
watching this game. I was watching the game in like the Houston, and JT was just like murking, right? Like it's like 2020 Jonathan Taylor. And I was like, oh man, this is it right here. And then I kept picturing, it's like, man, if Anthony Richardson was in, it got me all hot and bothered. I was so hyped. So back to the lack of talent, the Philadelphia Eagles, the lack of the way they're using their talent.
Misusage of the talent.
Yeah, the misusage of the talent. They have plenty of talent for sure. It's just wild because this team is constantly being put in positions that are not conducive to what they do well and what they've done well over the last few years and what really built this roster on. And which is wild because I've always been a big fan of Brian Johnson. Like I thought he was going to be like a seamless transition. He did great work with the quarterback room. But some guys, like they're just that. They're just great positional coaches. Just like some guys are just great offensive coordinators or great defensive coordinators. And then they become head coaches and they fail. Like it's a different ball game. And so Tampa Bay scrappy, bro. Like that team is so fun to watch. Like they fly around. They're really well coached. They're so fun. Like Baker's like doing his thing every week. Like the dude's just gutsy. Like he just guts it out. He makes plays. Mike Evans is like the Hall of Famer that he is. He looks unbelievable. Chris Godwin's coming around. The running game.
Once Chris Godwin's wife publicly called out the play callers, they've been feeding him again, and he's looked like the Chris Godwin that we all know and love.
It's been great, and like Mike Evans, bro, honestly, I don't know if I want to see him leave. Yeah, and for me, for sure, I think he is like absolutely Hall of Famer.
Yep.
And I don't know if I want to see him leave Tampa Bay. Like, I mean, I want to see him keep doing his thing like he has the last decade. But it might shock some people, man. But just like the way of like watching the Eagles the last month that I've watched, I don't know. Like they don't have an identity. Like they don't know who they are. They don't know what they do well. They don't know how to utilize their talent. And even though they have so much roster talent, especially over Tampa, Tampa's a team that like they know what they do well, like, and they're going to do that. And Baker might put them in some bad spots, but he's probably going to make some plays. Like these wide receivers are going to make plays. Like Cade Otton's going to go out there and make a big catch. The running game, man, like is
Rashad
really
White played
surprised me.
really well down the
Bro, it's
stretch.
like so surprised me. He looks fantastic. And that defense, they still got some dogs on D, especially in that linebacker core. Like these are dudes that have played in big
Antoine
games.
Winfield's
Won,
played great. He's had a good year.
they've won Super Bowl. They, like these are guys that have been here in this moment. So I'm gonna take Tampa at home. I think the Eagles lose this game, dude. I really do.
That's another factor too. That Tampa is at home. Like that's a big deal, man. Chris, how do you feel about? I think this is one of the most interesting games too. So, Chris, how do you feel about this, man? How do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, I do not feel good if I'm an Eagles fan. I feel good if I'm a Bucs fan. You're playing with house money at this point. All the pressures on the Philadelphia Eagles, considering they were Super Bowl contenders last year in the Super Bowl. 1 win over the last 6 games for the Eagles. It has not looked good. Tampa Bay's rolling. We've seen how susceptible the Philadelphia Eagles have been to the pass catchers, and they're both rooms are stout. Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown, Chris Godwin, like you mentioned there, Landon, and Mike Evans, their first ballot Hall of Famer. It's pretty much going to come down to whether or not Baker Mayfield is going to win the game or lose the game for the Bucs. He can very well do one or the other, considering his role in that offense. So can the Bucs win? Yes, they can. Can the Eagles win? Absolutely. Will the Bucs win? I think the Bucs win this game in Tampa at home. It's going to be loud. As much as I am a Saints fan and absolutely hate the Bucs, I wish this was the Saints. The Eagles are down bad, man, and this isn't as much of a get right game as it would have been maybe 5 weeks ago when talking about the Buccaneers and in the position they were at, in the position the Philadelphia Eagles were in 5 weeks ago, coming off a loss. You think, all right, they got the Bucs lined up. They're in a position to win and turn their ship around. Not in the playoffs, man. Not at home. Baker's going to be feeling it. He took the Browns to the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs, and then there was that fumble outside of the end zone that would have took him to the Super Bowl. Was that divisional?
I think that was the divisional
divisional game.
They had him on the ropes.
So, and then I think it was
had him on the ropes.
Hey, one thing too. This might sway y'all's opinion though. Baker Mayfield today in practice, he's packing that thing. Look, forgive me, Lord, for I have sinned. He's got it going, bro. That's the difference maker.
Feeling
right
dangerous, man.
Yeah, bro. Baker Mayfield packs him a couple Zens up there, get a couple of them lip pillows in him. When he goes out there and starts swinging that rock, bro, it's over.
The Bucs got one of the best DBs in the game with Antoine Winfield snubbed from the Pro Bowl, which is unfortunate. They got a good D line. They got a good system in place. They could definitely, if the Eagles win, though, I don't see them making it past the next round. But I'm taking the Bucs.
Boston Brawler, also not a Philly fan.
They come on the show one time. Like, can we get you on the show?
Yeah, we need these.
Invite's open if you ever want to.
If you use the word butthole in chat, you should be on this show.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
They certainly love pushing buttholes. Jalen Hurts specifically. They shove his butthole all over the field. This
man a microphone, bro.
Yeah, I know that my one of my favorite DFS stacks for this weekend, I'll say, is Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans and or Chris Godwin, possibly both. Jared, I'd like to hear your take on that. But with how bad Philly is against quarterbacks and receivers, basically throughout the entire season for fantasy purposes, they were matchups that we were targeting on a weekly basis in DFS. So I think there's a world where Baker can be really productive in this game. And even the run defense for Philly, that has historically been really, really good. They still haven't been bad necessarily, but they haven't been the dominant top 2, top 3 run defense that they've been, that we've known them to be over the last 5 or 6 weeks either. So, which I'm sure is part of why they're struggling. But it's so weird to think that like 6-7 weeks ago we thought that Philly was, a favorite to go back to the Super Bowl, and how quickly things can change. I mean, it goes to show you that it goes to show you how quickly things can change in the NFL, man. I mean, we just talked about it with Buffalo, and even just last week, I forget what game it was, but there was a game that somebody, I think it might have been whenever Jacksonville got knocked out. It ended up making it to where Buffalo was going to make it regardless. But before a certain game played out, I don't remember which one it was, Buffalo was literally playing to where they were either going to be the 2 seed or they were going to miss the playoffs entirely. And it's just like, and now here they are, they're sitting at the 2 seed because,
once the Colts lost, they got locked in.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay. Gotcha. So, I'm going with Tampa. I'm going with Tampa too, man. I'm going with Tampa too. I hope Baker cooks. I really do.
Bro. This show is just purely based on vibes.
Yeah. There was no research done. We've all watched a ton of football as the year has gone on, but we didn't. We're not deep diving the numbers before we get in here.
I saw Baker have that can in his pocket today, and I was like, yeah, Tampa's winning this game, bro. That's vibes, bro.
Drew said the key word. We've all watched football, and we all seen this play out. Philly's going to win this game, guys. Like, this is the Jalen Hurts get right, put your team on your shoulders. It's his to lose. Both teams are extremely banged up, though, too. A.J. Brown
going down. Did you see his finger last week?
Do what?
Did you see Jalen Hurts' finger last week?
You see Baker last week, too? He's limpy as well. There's a lot of injuries in this game. Chris is absolutely right. Philly does win this game, then they won't go very far after this, but I've got them winning against Tampa.
Okay. So,
well, Jared, your opinion is invalid because
Jared, you have been overruled.
I'm not the popular one, but
you can all laugh. You can laugh at us.
Yeah, you can make fun of us next time we get on here if you end up being right about Houston and
huge
Philly.
Texans and Eagles fan this weekend.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, bragging rights is more important than almost anything in this world. So,
absolutely,
man. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's facts, though.
Yeah. Before we move off this game, I'm since I mentioned that on this, since I mentioned the Baker Mike Evans stack, how do you feel about that? Are you targeting somebody different or? The games that we've talked about up to this point, is there anybody that because we hadn't really talked much about DFS, which is something that we usually try to mix in.
So there'll be 2 different slates unless you do the 2-day.
That's true. Yeah, you got the Saturday and Sunday slates, right? Yep.
But if it was me, I do favor. I love playing Mike Evans. He'll be pricey. It kind of depends on the A.J. Brown situation too, because I do think Tampa. Yes, Winfield's amazing, but their pass defense has not been great this year either. It's actually been really bad. I like a Hurts Goddard stack with a bring back of Mike Evans. It's going to be a little pricey, but I think that would be a good spot.
Okay. What's up, Matt? Appreciate you doing this, man. All right. Next game up.
Game of the week right here, bro. I was so hyped that this happened. I've been praying for like 2 weeks because I know they mentioned a couple of weeks ago that this was a possibility.
Yeah.
I've been praying. I was like, I need this, bro. I need it. The NFL script writers, they got it right. They knew what they were doing, bro.
What a great commercial too.
Fantastic.
That NFL script.
Yeah, the way they played on it was.
Did you see the news? Whenever Kelly Stackard on her podcast or whatever was saying, after it got confirmed that this was the matchup, that Matt texted her and he said, "Let's fucking go."
Yeah.
Oh, dude, there's so much juice in this game. I'm so hyped. You got fucking Motor City Dan Campbell versus Sean McVay. Let's go.
Got the game plan guru versus we're gonna bite your kneecaps off. Yeah, you got
none of that Zen pussy.
The only
shit.
thing that dampens this game for me was the Sam Laporta injury. Once Laporta went down, I was like, man, it sucks.
It's extremely unfortunate.
The crazy thing is too, they technically wouldn't even had to play their starters if they didn't get screwed on that Dallas game.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, because if they beat Dallas, they have they have the tiebreaker there, and they're good to go. They don't have to even play their starters. That's a good point. You know, and we get the one thing we got around here is we have a very, very smart audience. Clearly, Matt makes a very good point. He sounds like a very educated, well thought out response. Couldn't agree with you more, Matt.
This is the true ball watchers podcast. We watch balls around here.
Is that your burner, Drew?
Yeah, it is.
Let's say my fan base smells like bong
He's
water.
typing in the chat right now from his phone.
Next comments could be like, "Wow, this Drew guy's really fucking smart," and I'm gonna have nothing to do with it.
Great take, Matt.
So, Landon, who you got winning this one, man? I need to know. I need it,
dude. This is the hardest one of the week for me. This is the hardest one of the week.
It's a tough one,
man. From start to finish, like I know he's not going to be the favorite. He might not even get any votes. I don't know. Matt Stafford deserves to be in the MVP conversation for this season. Absolutely, 100%. He's playing some of the best quarterback, just like pure quarterbacking that I've watched.
He's looking very quarterbacky out there.
He's looking very quarterback.
I thought he looked like a quarterback personally,
but like this is a tough one, man, because the Lions just like they have so much talent on both sides of the ball. They're very well coached. They're aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
This is a team like
go for it on fourth down.
Yeah, like 9 out of 10 times, like they're prepared. Like they're going to come out swinging. Like this isn't a team that really has letdowns. Like, every team does during the course of a season. You're going to have 1 or 2 games that just get away from you and it sucks. But
Baltimore,
for most of the time, like Detroit, like they're on their shit. And same thing with the Rams. Like they are so well prepared. They're so well coached. They still have phenomenal talent. Kyron Williams, bro, give that dude his roses.
Fifth round pick,
really well.
Yeah, like since he's been like in the lineup and like doing his thing, like he's probably been the second best running back in football.
Fantasy wise, he is the second best running back in football.
Oh, well, that fits. But I'm just saying, like, as far as like watching, like, I don't really know too many running backs that are playing better than he is right now, other than Christian McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor. But it's
that system is just so like. I know Kyle Shanahan gets a lot of attention for how productive his running backs are, and rightfully so. His run schemes are incredible, but how many times do we have to see McVay just pull anybody and everybody off? Like the last time they went to the not the time they won the Super Bowl, but the Super Bowl run whenever they lost to Detroit, he literally pulled C.J. Anderson off the street and was like, "Here, go be a bell cow." And he was one of the best running backs in the fucking
in the playoffs. Like in the playoffs, that dude like went off.
Yeah, it's just that's not to take anything away from Kyron. He's played really well. He was really inefficient early on, like at the front part of the year. Like I was giving all the credit to McVay and the offense, the system, but down the stretch, man, he's played some really good.
I'll tell you something else too that gets really overlooked this season. I haven't seen a lot of people talk about on the opposite side of the ball, man. Like everybody talks about how good Detroit's draft class was. The Rams draft class might be just as good, bro. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, they hit on so many guys in that class, and it's just been phenomenal to watch.
But to your point, Steve Avila, their second-round pick, the guard, I think he was the highest-graded rookie guard in the league this year. And
where did you hear about him first, Drew?
You told me about him.
Right,
you sure did. You sure did. If you guys aren't into the blue stable, this guy he covers quarterbacks, running backs, wide receiver, all the flashy positions. But then he also gets in the trenches, O line, D line.
That's the first place I went at the Senior Bowl last year. That's the first place I went. I went down to the trenches. I watched O line and D line for like 3 straight days. So
he pulled out some gems. There was names that
Puka Nacua. That was a gem right there. Like that was a dude. The Rams draft class has been phenomenal. On the other side, though, Detroit's draft class has been great. Which unfortunately, like I said, they're going to be without Laporta. This is a tough one, man. This is so tough.
I don't even know what this is in reference to, but
I need this guy on the show. I need this thing.
I don't even know what any of that means, but I'm down for all of it.
The next message
whatever.
needs to be your mailing address so we can send you a microphone.
Yeah, I got it.
You're in, buddy.
I'm sorry. Like, I'm gonna take Matt Stafford and the Rams, bro. I am. Like, normally in this type of game, I would go with, the better team, and I do think Detroit, from start to finish, has been a better team, has a better roster. But man, like this Rams team, McVay, Matt Stafford, like they've just been in this moment so many times, and I can't pick against Stafford. Like I can't do it. Like he's playing too good. And I think it's just such a storyline that Matt Stafford comes back into Detroit, like at Detroit,
Their first playoff game in
their
like
first
30
playoff
years.
game, and they get bounced by Matthew Stafford. It's just kind of vindication for all those years that he carried that franchise on his shoulders.
And they shit on him for it.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So yeah, I'm as much as I would love the Lions to advance, like I would love to see the Lions win a Super Bowl. I really would. I'm gonna take the Rams. I've got two.
I love it. I love it, Chris.
We might go
let me down.
Well, I'm thinking of rolling the Lions here. The Rams suck, just cheeks, straight trash team. No one likes them.
Orlando,
no one on
This
this
fan base
panel
really
likes
is trash,
them.
though.
Can't even stay in a city for long
like,
enough.
that's not even a shot at Drew. Like, every Rams game is like a home game for the away team.
Yeah, just
the Rams Cowboys game in the regular season was
got the
ridiculous.
refs in
So,
their
hey,
pockets.
just real quick, I don't want to stick up for LA because fuck LA. I'm a Rams fan. I'm not an LA fan, but it really is only the ones of the fan bases that travel really well. Like whenever Philly or Dallas or the Steelers or the 49ers, like those fan bases come to town because
I don't even really think it's necessarily bad.
Whatever 29 of the 31 other teams come to the league, their fans all travel really well. No, but
I don't even think it's that, honestly. Like, I think it's more like there's so much shit to do in LA.
Yeah.
That, like,
and
it's the same thing with the Chargers. It's the same thing with the Chargers.
Well, and the Chargers fans are even worse. But that's part of why it's so bad is because whenever those psycho fans for these teams that travel so well, whenever they see the Rams on their schedule, like, oh, we're going to go to an away game this year anyway. We're going to go to this fancy ass stadium out in LA and go
like
chill in Los Angeles.
90% of LA is like transplants. Like, there's not a lot of people from LA that were born in LA.
Most of the LA fans are like, yeah, I'm a LA Dodgers fan. I'm a Los Angeles Lakers fan, but I'm a San Francisco 49ers fan. Like, so like, which comes from, moving the team from.
At least they're in the same state. I mean,
so are they like Kentucky basketball fans and Alabama
and the football fans?
Chris, you and your
My
tiny nipples
are large, actually.
He's got some peps up there.
Yeah.
Pepperoni nipples.
Best show ever.
All right. So, Chris, did you ever stop your troll job to tell me you were picking the Rams?
Yeah. It is also a Josh Reynolds revenge game.
We're deep into the
Yes.
So I'm expecting big things out of Josh Reynolds, but I think I got to go with the Rams. The Lions coaching staff they're just going to do something foolish, maybe two things foolish. That's going to cost them. Jared Goff's going to throw a pick or two. It's just inevitable. It's ultimately going to come down to the coaching staff, and the Rams hold that advantage there over the Lions. So as gross as it was to say the Bucs are going to win their first playoff game, it's even more or just as gross to say the Rams are going to win, but I'm picking the Rams.
Orlando continues to have your back, Jared. They did almost have the Browns earlier in the year without Stroud, which is a fair point. So
the Browns also had Deshaun Watson, and that's
Did
they have Deshaun Watson?
Man, they're
Yeah,
home
the
underdog.
Browns didn't have
Really?
Joe Flacco. So
Well, Flacco didn't play in that game. I thought that was a Flacco game for some reason, but I could be remembering
let's
wrong.
look it up. The internet exists right here, baby.
LA is a self-absorbed cesspool, and the transplants they all move out of LA to make it zero hometown loyalty. Yeah, you're not wrong, Matt. You're not wrong at all.
Absolutely correct.
So it's not much of a fucking mystery who I'm
No,
gonna
it
pick.
was, dude.
I mean,
You
Picking
don't
the
know how to
Lions,
bet on them,
Drew?
bro. It was
I'm not.
the
I'm
Browns
not.
won by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, so almost having them might be a stretch, but
Yeah,
Give us 2 touchdowns, bro.
I don't remember. I know I watched part of the game. I don't remember how it played out. You know, a lot of times in the league.
no,
the
yeah, it
score
was Joe
doesn't always-
Flacco. Joe Flacco
the
did play
score,
in that game.
Score doesn't
Three-
always reflect how close the games are, but
Yeah, 3 touchdowns.
yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not.
That was the Amari Cooper go bananas game when he had like 300 yards.
That's
That
right.
shit ain't happening again, man.
Maybe not 300 yards, but he can
Even if
very
they
well go
win, that
crazy
shit's
again.
not happening.
Nah, I don't think you're gonna see that happen at all.
But I'm not at my home office. You can't see the Aaron Donald jersey behind me that's usually hanging up. So my bias isn't as obvious as it usually is. But I absolutely have a bias with this one, and I'm not gonna pick the Rams to lose, at least this game. I'm not gonna pick them to get bounced in the first round. But I do think this is a good matchup for him. I think this is a good matchup for Stafford.
It's gonna be a fun one.
You know, the Lions' run defense is pretty tough, but their secondary is very much so beatable. Now, why can't Brian? Whenever Brian Branch is out there on the field, they are tougher than whenever he's not. Obviously, because he's a great player, but even with him on the field, they are still a beatable matchup for Stafford and Puka and Kupp and those guys. And I would imagine that, you know, McVay has had no issue the last time they were in the playoffs letting Stafford just sling that thing every single game.
He's throwing it 45 times.
Yeah, and I would expect that in this one, Stafford's going to come in amped up, and he's been the game. Whenever I've watched him play in the playoffs for the Rams, I've always thought he was a good quarterback, but just watching how he elevated his play in the playoffs on their Super Bowl run, I mean, the guy led a game-winning drive literally every fucking game except for the first one against Arizona because they just didn't need it because they trounced Arizona. But every game after that, he led a game-winning drive to win the game. The dude, ice in his veins. There's a reason why he literally does the ice in his veins celebration whenever he does something crazy out on the field. The dude has ice in his veins. So I'm going to trust that because, look, Jared Goff is the opposite of that. I'm sorry.
If y'all get beat by Jared Goff, Drew's disappearing. Like,
you won't hear from me for weeks because what I think is going to happen is Lions fans are going to watch this game and they're going to be like, oh, that's why the Rams traded away Jared Goff and went and got Stafford. Like they're going to also see like Goff is a good quarterback. I'm not saying that he's not good, but he's not that guy.
He's a quarterback you win with, not a guy you win because of.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Stafford's a guy you win because of.
Yeah, he's a guy that you win because of, and I think it's gonna. If they lose this game, and Jared Goff plays really well, you're not gonna hear from me for a minute. And now, if the Rams lose this game and it's just because like it's a defensive battle or whatever, and it wasn't Stafford's day, I'm gonna be disappointed. But I'll be much less disappointed than if Goff goes for
3 touchdowns,
350 yards and 4 touchdowns or some shit like that.
Carves them up.
Yeah, that'll break my heart. But Jared, how do you feel about this?
Well, it's a DFS player's wet dream with the dome boner environment.
Dome boner. Yeah, this is the DFS game right here.
Yeah, you can literally just stack it any way you want. It'll be popular for sure. Dude, I lean Rams as well. I think Sam Laporta getting hurt is a huge deal. He was second on the team in receptions. He's kind of that security blanket with also elite upside too. Matt Stafford's on a different level. I think both teams are going to struggle, or I think the Rams will definitely struggle on the run. I think they will. Are you laughing at me, or is there
No, I'm sorry. Hang on. Okay, I'm gonna run you through this real quick because Boston Brawler is still on his heater right now. All right, so Matt put this in. Both teams will show up ready to play a must-watch game. Going to be hard to pick. I won't be touching it too close. Should be fun. And then Boston Brawler follows up. Matt, we're going all in on the Rams.
The Brawler is on to something. It's the Rams day.
And then you have one of my closest friends, Mr. Aaron Simpson.
I think Goff does go. I think Jared Goff. This game is going to be a shootout. Like it's going to be
I
a
agree.
shootout.
The Rams secondary has struggled lately.
Yes.
So I do think it's there for Goff to have a good game. I don't know about going crazy. Those multiple A's in that crazy is just to troll me. But yeah, no, I do think that this is and on top of that, with Laporta possibly being out, the Rams run zone more than almost any team in the league on defense, and Amon-Ra eats zone coverage for lunch, and his usage goes up even more with Laporta off the field. So if you want to do like a little Stafford and Kupp, Kupp always kicks it in the playoffs. You want to do like a little Stafford Kupp stack with the Amon-Ra bring back. I think that could pay dividends as well. But sorry, I wasn't laughing at you, Jared. You continue. There was just the Boston Brawlers got me.
Oh no, that guy's wonderful. He's fantastic. I don't want to talk about DFS all the time, but a stack that I think could be unique. I do a unique stack. If anybody wants any, my opinion on it, I like a Jared Goff with Amon-Ra St. Brown, obviously, but I like Gibbs as well. If you can fit it in, I think Gibbs is going to be involved in the passing game. I don't see Montgomery. Montgomery's going to be involved in the game, but they're going to mainly do that on like beginning of drives to kind of wear the Rams down a little bit. But with the tight end being out, I think Gibbs is going to be more involved because his elusive ability to get loose. So I like him a lot this week, actually. And that crowd's going to be hyped. That place is going to be loud.
Yeah, that environment's going to be incredible, man. Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. Sunday Night Football, prime time. Yeah, that's gonna be. I will be so sad if it's a letdown game. Like if the game itself ends up sucking.
Yeah. This is my game of the week. I can't wait for this.
Yeah, like everybody's gonna be tuned in for this one.
I need this to be like the Buffalo Kansas City game from like a couple of years ago.
Right, exactly. Or the Rams Kansas City game that was on that Sunday Night Football game. Jared, did you pick the Rams? Did we full sweep?
Yeah, full sweep.
Okay.
Don't be a pussy, Drew. We're picking the
Rams. we ride, baby. We ride. All right. Last game of the wild card round, and then we'll speed this up a little bit because we're already an hour deep and we're barely through the first round. But
that's what we do.
This is what we do.
Shit, we're in the oh my god, I didn't realize.
Yeah, we're still
There's more?
We're still the wild card, man. We ain't even made out of the wild card
See
yet.
you guys next week for the next round.
The winners are gonna be playing by the time we make our picks.
This was tough for me, man. So this was tough because
Yep.
So my dad is a Cowboys fan. My mom is a Packers fan.
Oh,
how's divided.
So we got some family drama up in my family this week. And if you did not know, before I became a Colts fan, I grew up, I was a big Packers fan. Love the Packers. Still love the Packers. And we got some Packers memorabilia because scattered through my Colts stuff. I can't go against the Pack, man. I can't. Realistically, they're probably not going to win this game. I mean, Dallas, and we didn't mention also Mike McCarthy against the Packers in the playoffs. This is another game, got a little storyline going on.
Oh yeah.
So
that breakup has happened a long time ago, though. They went over.
But Mike McCarthy. I mean, it wasn't like bad blood or anything, but at the same time, like Mike McCarthy won a Super Bowl for that franchise. Now he's gonna bounce them out of the playoffs. Like, who knows? But that being said, Jordan Love, bro. Jordan Love has been going bananas. He's making some throws that are just like unfathomable right now.
You remember how I talked about I missed on a bunch of quarterbacks over the years? Jordan Love was another one. I
didn't think he would be as good. I didn't think he'd be this. I thought he would be a good player. I knew you were going to have to be really patient with him, and I'm glad Green Bay subscribes to that because obviously it's paid dividends for them multiple times now. But it looks like they just went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, and now they got another franchise guy. Guy that's got 30 touchdowns and
good culture.
I mean, yeah, it's just fantastic. They're dealing with some injuries as well. I don't know if they have the firepower.
Aaron Love, Jordan Rodgers.
Yeah,
if you look at their first years as Green Bay starter, they are eerily similar.
It's crazy how identical they are.
Well, I think after this last week,
just box score stouting it. I think Love was technically better than Rodgers.
Yeah, I was gonna say after this last week, Love's got him beat.
which is crazy to think about, man.
Yeah, nuts.
Disgusting.
32.
Think of a team like the Browns that have had 30-something quarterbacks. These guys have had
seen the
3
Browns?
starters in the past 30 years.
Have you seen the Browns fan jersey?
Yeah, it's got all of them on his back.
Yeah,
What a
It's an
great
encyclopedia.
Nuts, man.
So
So
great.
yeah, I love Jaden Reed. I loved him at the Senior Bowl. I loved him at the draft.
No, never panic, so man. Never
Yeah,
panic.
bro.
That's the reason why he's winning.
Paper hands, bro. Paper hands. I'm gonna take the pack, man. Go pack, go. I'm doing it.
Woo!
Plus, I mean, I just don't like the Cowboys. I don't like their fan base.
That's fair.
Bunch of bandwagons. So
That jersey really is crazy. I mean, it's 3 columns deep, and all the columns are long.
Packers have had this 3 quarterbacks
3.
since 1993.
It's stupid. 4 if you probably go back before Brett Favre.
I'm sure there was another franchise guy in there before Favre. We're none of us are old enough to remember.
Bart Starr played there for like
Bart
40
Starr.
years.
Yeah, exactly. It's not fair, man.
All right, we got one vote for the Packers.
Joe Flacco was a quarterback before Brett Favre.
Chris, how do you feel about this game, man?
I'm going to go Dallas at home versus Green Bay. I like what the defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn, has been dialing up
Is
for the
Stephon
Cowboys.
Gilmore out for this game? Do we know?
I don't know. He did get hurt during the game. Huh?
Yeah. But yeah, I just like the Cowboys at home here. It's going to be super loud for the Packers, for Jordan Love there. Dallas, like you said, they could very easily choke with the game plan that they've been running there, with the play calling that Mike McCarthy has been fumbling. We've seen him fumble throughout the season. Another Dan Campbell situation, a team that can be put into a bad spot based on what their coach calls. So definite spot for the Cowboys to choke there, but I'm taking the Cowboys at home over the Green Bay Packers. As good as Jordan Love and the Packers have been down the stretch here, Dallas Cowboys, I mean, if they just keep feeding CeeDee Lamb, they can get up quick on you. And if the Green Bay Packers got to play catch up, I just don't like it.
Oh, Drew, I can't hear you.
Boston Brawler, man. If you want to hear Landon's facts, you got to turn into the Blue Stable, because this is a vibes-based show. We don't bring facts or reasoning over
I am
here.
being a little baby.
Being a little baby.
That is absolutely true.
No, but Chris, what you said about Dallas at home, that's really the thing for me. Dallas is such a different team at home, especially that offense, man. That offense is so good at home.
It's gonna be electric there.
Yeah, it is. I think they light it home. I think they light it up at home this week. I think that offense shows up and shows out against Green Bay. And even though Love has been playing well, I don't think he's going to be able to keep up. I think Dallas ends up just putting up too many points, which what they tend to do more often than not at home, which is going to end up giving them another home game too. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But Jared, what's your pick for this one?
Yeah, I think Green Bay is a dangerous team because they're house money. But at the same time, Dallas is a better team. They have the better roster. That defense causes turnovers that turn into points really fast too.
Yeah.
And being at home, I mean, the Cowboys are, I think, a layup in this one.
All right, so we've dissected most of these teams for the most part.
Well, wham.
So, wham.
How's it feel to be on an island, bro?
Wham,
right.
bitch, I'm a little baby.
I'll talk my shit. Don't worry.
Island boys.
All right, so
boy,
we can
to make it.
We I can't believe it's so stupid that we live in a world where somebody that dumb, people that dumb can be famous.
You know what's
They
crazy?
made more money than the 4 of us combined.
You know what's crazy too? So of course they lost their 15 minutes of fames. Those dudes are on OnlyFans sucking each other off right now.
Yeah,
don't
they're
know.
making out with
no
each other
way.
now.
They're brothers. I
As
swear.
a progressive
Jared told me about
podcast,
it.
we fully support it.
Jared, we were walking in the mall one day. He's like, did you hear about the Island Boys? I'm like, I don't want to hear anything about the fucking Island Boys, first off. But no, I didn't hear anything about them. He's like, yeah, like apparently one brother's blowing the other brother on OnlyFans. And I was like,
Oh
what?
my fucking god, man.
It's a new prop bet on DraftKings.com.
Yeah. Which Island Boy comes first? Plus
Yeah.
600.
to make
Everyone's a winner.
Oh my god! All right, so this is a perfect time for
What's up, Jorge?
Jorge. What's up, man? This is the boss extraordinaire for
Jorge.
Fantasy and Frames, the Boston founder of Fantasy and Frames.
You're on a different
great-
show.
Oh,
We picked a great time to tune in.
Apologize for whatever you hear.
Welcome.
But he does bring a good question that can get us away from that fucking topic.
No, we're
Yeah.
still on the
Okay.
Island Boys right now. We don't care about the running game.
No, we're done with that. Any concern with Green Bay getting the running game going in recent weeks? They are a different offense with Aaron Jones out there, man. So that's worth talking about. But I just even with that, I don't think the offense is going to be able to keep up. But I think that's the recipe for it, though. If they want to, if they want to win this game, they're going to have to use that running game to keep Dallas's offense on the sideline. So if I'm wrong about the game, I think that's the recipe for it to happen.
Micah Parsons gonna eat.
He is gonna eat.
I'm glad that I wasn't alone with not knowing that Island Boy fact, but
He's not surprised.
I'm glad we could enlighten you on this show.
all right. So now that we're an hour and 15 minutes deep, let's talk about the second round of the playoffs. Cleveland and Baltimore, a little divisional showdown here. We've talked about most of these teams in depth at this point, other than the two teams that have had a bye we haven't had to talk about yet. But so Landon, just start at the top, Baltimore and Cleveland. Who you got winning this one?
I don't know why. It popped in my head. Like, you guys remember the Chappelle show, like the racial draft?
Yeah.
You remember like the black guy that comes up, like Rondell or whatever? He comes up there and he's like always like making the announcements for who they pick. Like, I just like it's simple to me. Like, I was just gonna be like Baltimore Ravens. Like that's it. Like
we can keep it that simple.
Yeah. Now wait a goddamn minute, Rondell. That's not what we think. Yeah, bro. Baltimore, MVP of the league. Lamar Jackson getting it done. I mean, they're not just like beating teams; they're beating teams. Like they're like buzzsaw, bro. It's great. Make sure you don't go through all those tissues at once, Boston, bro. I think it's like $15. You can hook it up on the credit card. OnlyFans. Baltimore Ungawa. I knew exactly what you. Oh man, Chappelle Show classic. Baltimore Ravens, Lamar MVP. They're gonna. I mean, it's gonna be a beat down. It's over.
Chris, how do you feel about the game, man? You
Baltimore
everything
Ravens.
around me.
Yeah, Baltimore Ravens.
Kareem get the Island Boys.
I'm gonna go Baltimore Ravens here. As good as Joe Flacco was, as good as he might be against the Texans.
Another revenge game, man.
I didn't even think about that.
Oh yeah, Flacco. Flacco's going to be laid down to rest, unfortunately, after this divisional game here, and I'm going to give it to the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah,
I think there's a. If you look
They signed
back,
Dalvin Cook too.
They did sign Dalvin Cook. If you look back,
he's more cooked than his last name. That doesn't really matter.
Yeah, if you look back at all the colors of the Super Bowl emblems here, like this one,
calm down, Aaron.
They all match the champions, man. It's purple. It's the only purple team.
Oh, conspiracy theories are still alive.
Chris, you are welcome on anytime. You and I can just talk about conspiracies and sports.
I love it. It's already made up, man.
It's purple and red.
Predetermined. This show's worthless because it's all predetermined.
Baltimore, San Fran, Baltimore, Tampa Bay.
Sports are rigged.
Stop it, Landon. Stop it. I'm taking Baltimore too. Jared, I'm gonna give you an audible here because you were the only one to pick Houston. So
they would have lost to Baltimore as well.
Okay. All right. So there we go. Easy enough. I just want to get that out there because it would have been Baltimore and Houston for you. Baltimore, Flacco upsetting Baltimore would be great TV. And, hey, it's the NFL. So who knows? But we're not going there. So now the rematch from the insane game a couple years ago, KC and Buffalo. Landon, I'm glad I'm not the first one to have to try to decide between this game. So, what do you think, man?
Josh Allen gets it done. It's finally happening. Like it's gonna happen. Like as much as I hate picking against Mahomes and Kelsey, I just get the feeling like Baltimore is just on such a run right now. Like hot streak. Josh Allen's playing. He might be runner up for MVP for all we know right now.
He probably should be, to be honest. Now that they're the 2 seed.
Yeah, I think this is the year that Buffalo finally breaks that Kansas City curse, and I think they get it done.
Chris,
yeah, I'm going Buffalo at home in the frigid cold. I mean, I'm not too far from Buffalo, and it's colder than a mother up here. And if that's the case, if it is Kansas City over Miami that do end up facing Buffalo, I just believe Buffalo's got it this year. Like you said, Landon, they've been on a heater over the last little bit. Kansas City's been kind of on the struggle bus over the last few weeks. They don't have the firepower that Buffalo does have on the offense. Although I believe is Gabe Davis done for the year? Not that it matters too much, but
yeah, I was gonna. It's like
it only matters like every other game.
MVS is active, so you get the same Gabe Davis effect.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Just opposite side of the field.
But again, man, if it comes down to Josh Allen throwing 2 picks, I could definitely see a situation where the Kansas City Chiefs win this game. They got the running back, they got the tight end, they got Patrick Mahomes, they got Andy Reid, they've got the history of beating the Bills. But I don't know, man. It's just something about the Bills the past few weeks that's.
Josh Allen's got Haley Steinfeld though, so
he's got Haley Steinfeld. Exactly.
Who's the real winner here?
You got Christian Wilkins grabbing his junk too. That's another plus for Josh Allen. But yeah, I'm going Bills.
I don't know what that dude's deal. He should be on the Island Boys show or whatever. That dude is always grabbing somebody's shit.
Yeah, so I mean,
something to say.
Aaron makes a good point. I do think it's gonna be the opposite of the classic Kansas City Buffalo game that we remember from last time. I think this is gonna be more of a defensive battle. L'Jarius Sneed has played really good ball. So Diggs has been kind of faded out of the offense a little bit. I don't think it'll be much different if these two teams match up. I think that it might be, James Cook is the one guy, I was not a James Cook guy coming into the year, and at the first part of the year before they fired their offensive coordinator. Yeah, not so much, but I was looking really smart through most of the year before they fired their offensive coordinator. But then once they fired their OC, brought and made some changes, they've really catered to what James Cook does well, and their run game has looked better, which is something that Josh Allen has literally never had. He's been the passing game and the running game pretty much since he was drafted. So, I think that that's something worth being accounted for. But I want to say Kansas City, man, just because of the track record and because they have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and possibly the best defense that Mahomes and Reid have had since Mahomes was drafted. But it being in Buffalo and not Kansas City is where I'm really getting hung up.
This is the first, this is going to be the first away game that Patrick Mahomes has played in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Buffalo.
Yeah. He's never had an away game.
Well, the Super Bowls were away.
Well,
technically.
Not for Tampa.
Oh, true.
Yeah, or the Rams a couple years ago.
Or the Rams the next year.
It's a shame the Raiders didn't make the playoffs, or we could just script them to go the whole way.
Such a shame. The colors aren't black and silver, Drew. It's purple and red.
Well, you got to pick your conspiracy, man.
I got one for you in the next take, Chris. Don't worry.
I can only do so much. I'm sticking with Kansas City. I'm sticking with. I trust Mahomes. I trust Andy Reid. I trust that defense this year, and I trust the running game and Pacheco as well. And it's this is a coin flip game for me at this point, and for completely different reasons that it would have been a couple years ago. But I'm sticking with Kansas City. So, Jared, you're either going to make this 3-1 or we're going to have our first tie of the night. So let me know.
How we breaking the tie?
Unfortunately, there will be no tie.
Oh, we don't have to worry about it. There we go.
I was getting nervous.
I really like what Buffalo's done with the balance of their offense. I think opening up the run game has definitely been beneficial to them. James Cook is a completely different player. Dalton Kincaid. Landon has come around, and they're utilizing 2 tight ends. They're rotating them constantly. And the most important thing is McDermott is going to give a hell of a speech about the incident that happened on January 6th during the 2020 election. And that will motivate the Buffalo Bills to get over the hump and completely get past Patrick Mahomes and those roughneck Kansas City Chiefs. You're welcome.
Oh, man. What a time to be alive, man. What a time to be alive. They might get the T-Swift bump, too, so I got that going for me. But I'm overruled, so we're going to go.
She sucked the talent out of Travis Kelce, bro.
She's a monster.
She's a monster.
Can you imagine, like, famous owners that had him this year? I was not, thank God. But, whew.
Well, he was still the tight end 1 in points per game.
Yeah, but I mean, Josh Reynolds could have been tight end 1. I mean, it's
a bad position.
There just wasn't the gap between 1 and 2 like there typically is.
Yeah. And Laporta, though.
She sucked him dry. She's a good head.
I mean, I would take a season for Taylor Swift. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, Aaron. That's the last thing we want to nail.
Hey, look, there's probably only one of us here that's seen Taylor Swift in concert.
Good call, Jared. You're welcome, Jorge. That's what I'm here for, brother. All the good takes.
I've seen T Swift live. I like her.
I mean, she's got some bangers.
I can count on one hand the amount of songs I've heard from Taylor Swift, but I don't knock anybody that likes her. It's just not my thing at all. But
no Island Boys, but
go listen tonight.
Yeah, she's no Island Boys by any means. But.
I wish she was on OnlyFans though.
I would have to stop playing single entry tournaments to sign up for that.
Yeah, I just steal Jared's account.
All right. Now the game that I don't want to talk about at all.
I didn't even realize we did this.
We did this. We did this. The San Francisco 49ers and Los Angeles Rams are going to have to play each other if things play out the way that they have. And I would just like to point out for the record, before we get into this, just for the record, the winning streak that the 49ers had against the Rams was a regular season winning streak. They tend to leave that part out because the last time these two teams played in the playoffs, the shit didn't play out for San Francisco the way it did in the regular season. Shit ain't sweet in the playoffs like it is in the regular season. All right. And then Carson Wentz came to y'all's house and ended that regular season streak this last week. Anyway, Landon, go ahead.
Carson Wentz has 17 rushing attempts. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, he was RB1 for the Rams last week.
God, I hate that guy so much. He is terrible.
I love it.
They couldn't trust his arm, so McVay kept following up quarterback runs.
You don't know what's going to happen on any given play. Like it's like this is either going to be the most.
It was. I don't know if you watched that game, but it was the true Carson Wentz roller coaster. Yeah. He made some throws that blew my fucking mind.
Dude, he does. He will make some throws that are just like. It's like, how is that even humanly possible? And then he'll do like the dumbest shit. It's like watching like Russell Westbrook play basketball.
Yeah, yeah.
We've had that analogy right on the show.
Yeah,
like we
said that. Yeah. He absolutely is. Just less accomplished, but yeah, it's the same shit.
Yeah.
But
all right, Rams 49ers in the playoffs. Give me the best quarterback in this matchup, bro. I'll take
Brock Purdy, dude.
Brock Purdy, bro.
Brock Purdy, dude.
taking Brock Purdy, bro. I need it like air, bro.
I fucking hate it here. Oh my god.
I need it like air.
I like these guys,
Bro,
Drew.
I need Brock Purdy to bounce you so bad.
Bro, that would be amazing. I mean, it would be just.
I hope Brock Purdy goes for like 5 touchdowns in this game because your phone is not gonna stop. Oh man, that's phenomenal. I mean, regardless of that, I think San Francisco is just too talented, like to fuck this up somehow. If anybody could do it, it's Kyle Shanahan in the playoffs.
Outsmart himself.
Yeah, he'll do something stupid, but man, I don't know if it's in.
Best interview of the year so far, by the way. James Sharp.
The year is young, but it was good though.
Yeah, I'm taking the 49ers, bro. I'm sorry. I
gotta
do it. It's for the brand.
I get it, man. I get it.
I
You gotta,
respect it, Landon.
if there's ever a bit to stick to, you got to stick to it. So I get it, man. At least we have smart people in the chat. You know, we got Matt here. Rams can make a run. We got Boston Brawler, who has proved.
Matt.
How many burners you got, Drew?
I'm working overtime over here, man. All right, Chris, go ahead, man.
His delivery was amazing. I want to give you a standing ovation for that one.
You're lucky I value this. You lucky I value this headset, or I would have Gronk spiked it whenever you said what you just said about Brock Purdy.
All right, I'm going to go one of the friskier teams for the playoffs for me, a team that I didn't want to make the playoffs because I thought if they did make the playoffs, they could go on a pretty deep run. And I'm taking the Rams here over the 49ers, only because I don't believe in Brock Purdy. I'm with you, Drew. We can be island boys together, brother. You and I will be on this island of Los Angeles.
Whoa.
I'm just trying to make it as awkward as hell for you, so you pick the 49ers, Drew.
Where's my wallet?
You didn't make anything awkward.
Where's my wallet?
I'm halfway through the OnlyFans registration process as we speak.
Yeah, if the Rams can get out of the Detroit game healthy and with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams there, their offense, Matt Stafford, the game plan that Sean McVay is going to put together to go against Kyle Shanahan, I'm going to give the edge to the Rams here, slight edge to the Rams, and that's pretty much it. I don't think Brock Purdy's going to be able to get it done. I hope Aaron Donald pops him in the mouth like 10 times.
Ooh, hooray!
It's an interesting analogy there.
No, Andy Reid's won a championship,
but
In
Philadelphia,
Philly.
Andy Reid did not, though.
Oh, my bad. My microphone was cut
He was
off.
he was always getting there. He
was always getting there, but couldn't get it done. Yeah. That's an interesting analogy. Niners D at home. They run all over the Rams, C-Mac or not. They can move the ball and control the clock.
Yeah, definitely.
McCaffrey, man.
Brock Purdy, dude.
Brock Purdy, bro.
Have I told you guys that I can't fucking stand y'all lately? have I told you guys I can't stand y'all? I don't know if I put that in there.
850,000 you're a guy is going to get it done, man.
All right, so Jared, I'm assuming you're picking the 49ers.
Yeah, just to be spiteful. But I could see the Rams winning this game in all actuality. But CMC, bro, that at the end of the day, that guy he's something else. He's playing. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
If somehow you slow down CMC because you can't stop him, then you got Deebo Samuel, who's the second most athletic player in the NFL.
And you got George Kittle.
Who
and
blocks
you got Brock Purdy.
better than any person down the field. Like, they're tough, man. That's a tough roster. It'll be a home game.
Yeah, those are the two things that worry me. Number one, it's a home game for San Francisco, and then number two, like the Rams' best calling card on defense is their run defense,
Mm-hmm.
but they're going up against Kyle Shanahan's run scheme that has Christian McCaffrey in it. So it's like if there's ever a formula to beat a good run defense, it would be Shanahan calling plays and McCaffrey running the ball. So it's like the Rams' strength. I don't know really how strong it's going to be in this game. So
you're taking 49ers, right?
I think the 49ers win this game, unfortunately. I do.
Oh wow.
I would like to make it known right now up front.
Wow. Am I the only Rams picker here? Wow.
It won't fucking be because of Brock Purdy. That much I do know. He will continue to do the system shit he does and just skate by, and the 49ers will. I do think that they end up winning the game if things shake out the way that it does. But I do think that this is like I think that this is the toughest matchup for San Francisco. Like, I think this is what they don't want to happen, because the top 2 seeds in the NFC outside of San Francisco, Dallas and Detroit, they're both much better home teams than they are road teams. And if they make it to where they have to play San Francisco, both Detroit and Dallas would be on the road. So I think that this is the toughest possible matchup for San Francisco, and the one that they don't want to see because of the familiarity between the two teams, and because the Rams aren't nearly as home dependent, because their home field advantage isn't really much of an advantage, depending on who they're playing. Yeah. So I think this is the nightmare matchup for San Francisco. But I think the Rams defense has too many holes, and I think Shanahan's going to have a field day. I think Shanahan's going to have a field day with the holes that they do have in that secondary. And like I said, the Rams have had a really good run defense this year, but I just don't So I don't believe this personally, but if I found out,
no, don't play Jordan Mason.
Elijah Mitchell would be the play, right?
Elijah Mitchell, yes, definitely. I actually benefited from everyone being on Jordan Mason last week.
Yeah, and Chase Young hasn't been as dominant as I thought it would be whenever he got brought over. But if I found out
one move.
That's fair. It's a good point. If I found out that CMC was going to be, if I found out that CMC was going to be on a pitch count or not play at all, I would change my pick. He's absolutely the X factor for me. You're not supposed to pay running backs. You're not supposed to trade for running backs. You're not supposed to do any of that. But CMC is the exception. He is just that man is different. That man is different, and he is in a system that just continues to help him shine. And he didn't need the system, but it certainly doesn't hurt though. So we're gonna advance San Francisco, unfortunately. All right, so Dallas and Tampa. Landon, I know you didn't pick Dallas, so technically, if this
how the hell are we going to get a Dallas Tampa Bay matchup?
If this was Landon's bracket, it would actually be San Francisco versus Green Bay and Tampa versus the Rams, which I would like much more personally, because it just gives the Rams one more week.
And I would take the Rams.
Yeah, right. But
then we would get Rams and 49ers in the NFC Championship game.
And you would just take the 49ers again.
That's
so
true.
we're going to get there. We're going to get to the same place regardless. So as things stand, I know you didn't want Dallas in the spot, but Dallas and Tampa, if this matchup was to line up, who would you take here?
I'm taking the Cowboys in this one. I think, like, the magic that Tampa Bay has, like, it only goes so far just because of the quarterback. Like, it's limited. That division, they might not even make the playoffs, if that division is not as bad as it is.
Right, yeah.
No offense, Chris, but
offense taken.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm here to do. I will offend everybody.
Jamal Williams got in the end zone though, didn't
he? Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Did y'all see? Did y'all see the picture that I retweeted this a couple days ago, and I haven't stopped laughing. Every time I go to my timeline, I laugh again. So I'm going to bring it up again real quick. It says, so Dennis Allen is the coach, right? It says,
is he?
It says it has this picture of Jameis yelling in the huddle, and it says DA must stand for dumbass if he thinks I'm taking a knee. fake knee 21 blast on one.
Fake knee.
Because whenever I read that in Jameis's voice, like just hearing Jameis.
Oh yeah, bro.
Hearing
He's
Jameis
the most
in the
like,
huddle.
He's like the most like unserious, like funny player. He doesn't mean to. He's dead serious,
unintentionally
bro.
funny.
Yeah,
He's
like,
so
he's dead
unintentionally
serious.
funny, man.
And he's
Well,
like, that dude's gonna have a 15-year career on a microphone broadcasting games once he's done with football. like line that dude up for like CBS Sports or Fox Sports or whoever. Like,
I think
I'm tuning in.
the big picture is here, though, guys. We all play fantasy sports, whether it's for recreational gambling or whatever. We should all thank Jameis Winston for being the final nail in Arthur Smith. I mean, that is the ultimate. Thank you, Jameis Winston. You were one
Well,
of
it's
my
funny
top
too.
favorite
The
players of all
best
time.
part too was like Arthur
Free
Smith was so
Bijan.
pressed about it.
Oh, he went out like a
He
little
was
baby
eager.
back bitch, just like he should have.
Yeah, he was angry.
I loved every moment of watching him cry his way across that field on the way out, man.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
that poor guy's got to go back to his multi-billion-dollar family.
Yeah.
Poor fucking guy, man.
You have to work
Boo
a desk job at FedEx now.
hoo. So, is anybody not taking Dallas at this point, or can we just go?
I'm taking the boys.
Okay, yeah, Dallas at home is just too good, especially considering they're lining up with Tampa in this scenario. So, all right, we got the 1 and 2. We're pretty chalky at this point. So Baltimore and Buffalo, who do you guys got? Who's going to the Super Bowl?
Man, this is a tough one. But it's not that tough. Lamar Jackson getting it done, going to the Super Bowl, MVP. Finally, he's going to be real quarterbacky in this game. He's going to look real good. He's finally going to shut everybody up. I can't wait for it. Love Lamar Jackson.
Man. Me either.
The team's just too good. It's going to be back-to-back, like Harbaugh brothers getting it done. Let's go.
Chris, Baltimore, Buffalo.
As much as I want to pick Buffalo here, the Baltimore Ravens have just been a machine this season, and there's just no stopping them. And the color of the emblem is purple, so it's got to be Baltimore.
We have at least one person excited that the Bucs made it past the first round. So, I agree with both of you gentlemen. I agree with Jorge. I think that Lamar is headed to the Super Bowl this year. We're gonna keep Chris's color narrative for the Super Bowl.
I mean, blue and red from Buffalo make purple, so there might be a little something to that. But I think it's Baltimore.
Come for the OnlyFans stock and stay for the color wheel.
Diversity.
Jared, are you going to go? I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's 3-0, but I want to at least give you a chance.
Your pick doesn't matter, Jared.
Your pick does not matter, but I still want you to
even though it doesn't matter, it's the right pick, and that's the Buffalo Bills.
Woo!
Hear me out a second here, boys.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it'll fall into this next bracket, too. I don't want to go into too much detail because the next bracket, spoiler alert, I have the Dallas Cowboys. And we're approaching the 30-year anniversary of the Cowboys-Bills matchup in Super Bowl. All these sports books went legalized on a mass market. I think it's lining up. Sports are rigged. Give me Buffalo, Dallas, Super Bowl.
You got Bob Ross over here.
Paint you a picture.
All right. Well, so as much as Jared might not like it, we got Baltimore moving on. Consensus rules. Jared Drools, Landon, NFC, NFC, San Francisco, Dallas. Is it going to be San Francisco or the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders or the Cowboys team? Who's going to be advancing here?
My guy Chris is onto something here. So on the graphic of the Super Bowl, the colors go from red
Don't encourage him.
to purple, red into purple. And he's absolutely right. Like the last 3 years, the team colors.
I know it really is.
I mean, sports are league.
It's so annoying that it really is a real thing, but it really is.
So I'm taking the 49ers. I think the 49ers make their way. They've been the best team in the NFL from start to finish. And
Yeah, outside of that like 3-week stretch in the middle of the year where they struggled, they really have looked like the best team.
That's what I was kind of saying earlier. Like every team goes through some like rough periods.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just football. Like it's going to happen regardless. But from start to finish, them in Baltimore really have been the most impressive teams from the start of the season to the beginning of the season. And something about the Indianapolis Colts beating the Super Bowl champions every year in the regular season. It happens. They beat the Chiefs. I don't know.
So, I remember whenever they beat the Chiefs that year. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, well, they beat the Chiefs last year with like Matt Ryan. Like that's one of the 4 wins that team had. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So so they beat the Baltimore Ravens. They're going to be in there, and I'm going with the 49ers in this one, much to Drew's chagrin. Journalism words for you, baby.
Kevin, I couldn't agree more. I'm sick to my stomach over here just thinking about it, man. I really am. The good news is all of us true ball knowers will know it's not because of Brock Purdy. So we will just be able to continue to relish in that, and we'll give the credit to everybody else and never to Brock Purdy, and we'll be able to keep on going. But Chris, San Francisco, Dallas, who you got, man?
Yeah, throughout this whole show here, we've been talking about how good Dallas has been at home throughout the season. Now they pivot on the road to San Francisco. Yep. I just think that Dan Quinn, again, is going to dial up some kind of scheme that's going to force the San Francisco 49ers to have to put the game into Brock Purdy's hands. And
he's going to deliver, baby.
No, he's going to deliver the ball to the Dallas Cowboys defense. Darren Bland's going to catch a pick 6. Mark that down. If this is the matchup, if it all comes true, and Dallas Cowboys are going to be going on to the Super Bowl. As gross, I'm not a big Dallas Cowboys guy either, but
I say it every year.
I'm not a Cowboys fan at all.
No, who is a Cowboys fan, Jared?
My stepdad is. Yeah, my dad's a Dolphins fan.
For me, it's the Cowboys.
Yeah, so it's 1-1, and
here
that doesn't make.
Here we are, dumbasses, being Colts fans, me and you. What the fuck's wrong with us?
Yeah, I don't know what y'all's problem is.
Probably being a Saints fan.
We're old. That's what our problem is. We remember when the Colts were good.
Remember that time, man, when we had
You remember that game from 20 years ago we watched?
Dallas card throw up the middle.
You remember that one time at band camp? I don't want to pick San Francisco to win this game at all. I mean, they're literally the least favorite team in the NFL. I hate them more than almost than life itself. But Chris, I really thought you were going to go San Francisco because you were bringing up the same exact point that I was going to bring up of, Dallas is such a different team at home than they are on the road. And I can't get that game out of my head early this year where San Francisco just handed it to them in San Francisco earlier this year. But I think that Dallas is a different team as the year's gone on. I think that they have matured. And I'm a Dak Prescott fan. I'm a CeeDee Lamb fan. I actually enjoy the players on the Cowboys. And so, I picked with my brain whenever I picked against my favorite team, whenever I picked San Francisco to beat the Rams. I'm not picking with my brain anymore. There's no way in hell I'm about to sit here and say the 49ers are going to the Super Bowl. So Dallas gets revenge in San Francisco. Brock Purdy gets exposed for the fraud that he is. And Dallas goes to the Super Bowl, and I'm going to run around naked in my house whenever it happens and we finally get him exposed. Because it was happening. The Brock Purdy exposure was happening last year against Philly. They were going to expose his ass for who he was, and then he got lucky and he got hurt because he was going to get exposed before he got hurt. And I'm just tilting for the most part. But no, that was a lot of trolling to say that I refuse to pick San Francisco to go to the playoffs and to go to the Super Bowl. So I'm going to take Dallas as well. So it's 2-1 here, Jared. You can either tie it up or you can send Dallas to the Super Bowl.
As much as I'd like to tie it up, I believe in UFOs, and I believe in conspiracies, and I believe in sports books being rigged, and I've got the Dallas Cowboys in the Super Bowl. America's team, baby.
I believe Jimmy Kimmel was on the Epstein list.
Hey, you're welcome,
Masks
Castillo.
do not work.
That's what we're here for, man. That's what we're here for. And that's another thing. Bro. I'm not even gonna get started on that. It's 2024, man. Why is he still on Pat McAfee talking about vaccines and that Fossey dude and shit? Like, and why is he talking about everybody wants to silence me and I don't have a platform? Whenever he's on Disney and ESPN on a weekly spot,
Getting paid,
talking crazy shit. Like, Aaron Rodgers is an incredible football player, but he makes my fucking head hurt whenever I have to listen to him talk. And I am not. I've
got this like deep conspiracy theory that like he's actually just like doing the absolute biggest troll job.
If he ever comes out and says that, I will appreciate the hell out of it because I love a good troll. I love a good troll, but I have a hard problem watching that. And the reason I will have so much respect for it is because if it is a troll job, he is doing an all-time fucking
bought in, man. He's bought in
because
what was the character from South Park? The guy, the troll from that episode. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh shit.
That's what I call Aaron Rodgers. I can't remember the freaking dude's name.
The username. What was the username? It was like something 6'9".
Dilho Baggins or something.
No. Hold on.
So now Parsons versus Lamar, Dak versus the big stage, Tony Pollard versus Roquan, the ghost of Tony Pollard versus Roquan Smith.
Tony Pollard.
Skank Hunt 42.
Skank Hunt 42. That's Aaron Rodgers.
All right. We have one final game here to wrap this thing up. We finally made it. Baltimore and Dallas is the consensus.
We have integrity.
Yeah, that's right. We've made it. Baltimore and Dallas. Landon, if this is the matchup, who do you have winning this game?
I got Lamar Jackson.
Crack baby basketball. You said you're not picking the Cowboys.
I'm not picking the Cowboys. I can't.
So let me ask you, but before, so I expected Baltimore to do the pick, but before I move on from you though, if San Francisco would have been the consensus choice and they would have moved on, would you have picked San Francisco or is it still Baltimore?
Still Baltimore.
Okay, so we're all gravy, baby. It's all good. It's all good. Man, it's Lamar's year, baby.
Yeah,
to beat a team twice.
I will always be forever indebted to Lamar Jackson for helping me beat Drew in the fantasy championship like 3-4 years ago.
Yes, it was his MVP year.
Yeah, like MVP season. Drew traded me Lamar Jackson. I can't remember the exact trade.
Better.
It was,
yeah, I did. It was before he became the starter. I don't remember the exact trade either.
I traded you Zeke Elliott, I believe,
for Lamar Jackson.
I got Lamar and somebody else. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, I know. It was a one quarterback league, and I had somebody else at quarterback.
Lamar was on his bench.
Lamar was technically my backup because he hadn't been a starter yet, and so I packaged Lamar and somebody to upgrade at running back, and it was, look, I've made 100 dynasty trades and redraft trades over the years, and that was one that ended up aging very poorly.
Yeah,
don't feel bad though, because Landon a few years later traded me with sweet, and I mean absolute sweet mint Turtles in Time Super Nintendo game for Lamar Jackson. And Lamar got hurt 2 weeks after the trade. So
whoa, you guys are doing real life value for
that's how much players? I love Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I got Turtles in Time on SNES.
A mint condition copy, by the way, for Lamar Jackson. So my Lamar love runs so much deeper than people realize. And it's so weird because he played at Louisville and Louisville fucking sucks. But
yeah, I know it's crazy, isn't it? Because he's one of my L's down, but he's one of my favorite players in the league too, though.
Yeah, I love the guy. I could not be like if Lamar Jackson.
That's what I'm thinking. Y'all colluded. That's illegal. You can't do that.
No,
Yeah,
it was a
Trading
real
video
trade.
games for
I play on
players.
official hardware, so I'm not doing anything illegal. Like it's a legit Super Nintendo.
It was
There's
a
no
it was a
collusion.
real trade.
You guys cook the books, man.
We traded players too.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
can't.
we traded. He got a player, or he got Lamar Jackson. I
It
don't
didn't
even
even
remember
work.
Huh?
Like it would be one
It worked
thing.
for me. It worked great.
It
I
don't
probably missed
matter if
the
the it
playoffs.
don't
I got
matter if
Charles
the
Hines.
it don't matter if the deal ended up sucking. You
I got
still
screwed.
you guys still colluded, man. You can't be making side bets.
Yeah. Here,
I
take
got a
this
top
5
20
bucks.
Super
Like,
Nintendo
hey,
game of all time. I'm fine
that
with
was
it.
like, did y'all see the shit that went viral earlier this year? Where it's like, I'll trade you CMC, but I get to fuck your wife. Like,
Oh yeah, on Reddit.
Honest to God,
you can't.
I would
do
play
that,
Turtles in
man.
Time before fucking, one of my friends' wives. Or anything.
Yeah, that's fair. So y'all's deals
Stand
even
up,
worked.
dude.
It worked out for everybody.
Man,
What, the CMC
Not
trade?
working out for me.
Oh, the
It did not
CMC
work
trade, I'm sure it worked out for a couple people, but
yeah, I guess it depends on what the guy's wife looked like, but
depends on what the upside was.
the guy that got CMC was probably pretty happy. I think it was like 50-something% of ESPN leagues had the person. Oh, I cleared the thing because you guys started talking about
No.
even the Super Bowl bracket. Heard you guys talking about cheating. Was like, oh, we're not going to be a part of this shit.
Man, it's all
Oh,
right,
it
bro.
doesn't like cheating, but it likes the Island Boys talk.
Oh look, it was an old
Chet
school.
has-
It was an
Chet
old
likes
school
to be
friends league. No money on the line.
Okay, that makes it a little
yeah,
bit
there
better.
was no money. It's
Okay,
just,
that makes it a little bit better.
it's just all of us just fucking around in a league, just for shits and giggles.
Okay, so Landon, you got Baltimore. Chris, who you got, man?
I got Lamar.
I forgot.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Baltimore as well. I think they finally get it done. Lamar gets it done. When he was drafted, he said he was gonna bring the city of Baltimore a Super Bowl, and this is gonna be the year that they finally get over the hump with Todd Monken as the first year OC, Isaiah Likely, all the weapons on offense, the defense is rolling. I just like what they're gonna be able to. And if this is the matchup, whether it's Baltimore, San Fran, or Baltimore, Dallas. Both would end up being really, really good games. So, but I'm going to take Baltimore over the Cowboys.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't matter who I'd have picked to win the NFC Championship game. It's Baltimore. It's always Baltimore. It's always Lamar. Lamar for Bitcoin. I'll Venmo you. It's fair. I'll just be it. Appreciate you, Matt. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Appreciate you, man. But yeah, I'm going Baltimore as well.
Jared over here fucking shooting me out on the live internet.
Yeah, you just got exposed
I
on
just
the
got
internet,
called
man.
out, man.
There's nothing to expose.
Oh no, that Atlanta just got exposed, and that shit lives forever. And the Harbaugh brothers will make history if the Ravens win. That's actually a pretty cool thing I hadn't thought about until you just said that. But
that's efficient, bro.
That is pretty cool. So another
who has it better than us?
Nobody. We're keeping the conspiracy theories alive.
Jared, you haven't heard the best one yet because it's coming.
Jared, once again, your vote does not matter, but you can go ahead and tell us it anyway.
All right. Let me paint you guys a picture. Bob Ross is saying for you guys real quick.
Okay.
Buffalo, Dallas, Super Bowl. Who's commentating the game?
Troy Aikman.
Romo Nance.
Tony Romo. Guess who's still alive to do the coin toss? Jim Kelly.
Oh,
Buffalo by 4. Book it.
Buffalo by because of the
Let's go.
Yeah, you're fucking cooking tonight, Jared. Yeah. Unfortunately, your vote doesn't matter.
Dallas missing field goal. Wide right?
Yeah, Dallas has to miss a field goal for Buffalo to win, right? Like that has to be the end.
But their kicker's money.
Not in this conspiracy theory. He's not.
Not in this universe, baby.
we have been kind of buoyant. It's only because Jared has been going last. He's at the bottom of the frame. He should have been at the top because he has been bringing it tonight. We should have put him at the very top.
I need the feedback from you
behind him.
But Baltimore's the winner, the consensus winner. There you have it. We had a couple differences throughout the bracket, but for the most part, we were pretty much on track. You know, we all agreed that Baltimore is going to win outside of Jared. We all
here in about 4 weeks.
We all
Yeah,
agree
when
that
the
Brock
Texans
Purdy.
win.
Yeah.
We all agree that Brock Purdy stinks, so it's good that we're
I'd
all
rather
on the
die.
same page there. You know, that's good. Appreciate the consensus on that. So yeah, there you go. Baltimore Ravens, Super Bowl champions, and we
Lamar
managed to
Jackson
get
MVP,
Lamar
Super Bowl
Jackson
MVP,
MVP, Super Bowl. Absolutely, he's Super Bowl
all the
MVP
above.
too.
Regular season MVP, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl winner. Only been done by a select few.
Yep. Add Lamar Jackson to the list, baby. All right.
We'll get to hear a whole offseason about how he can't throw the football.
Yeah. Or the teams that didn't want to trade for him before
Yeah.
the last
did you see
during the
Arthur
last
Blank's
offseason.
interview on that?
I saw something on it. What did he say exactly?
He basically didn't say that, like that Lamar's a bad quarterback, but he didn't fit what the management wanted to build the
they
team
wanted
around.
to lose.
Something they wanted to build around Desmond Ritter.
Somebody good.
It was a phenomenal idea. Like, it was a
They
great
wanted
idea.
another top 10 pick.
Sounds like Arthur Smith. Well, I'll tell you what, Jaden Daniels is going to cook in that offense next year. So,
Whew. I'm excited to see him. Matt, Jorge, you know I got so much love for you, but Matt, Boston Brawler, yeah, the chat was incredible tonight, man. That was the best part of the whole show. You guys really added the element that would have been missing without you guys.
great.
Boston Brawler, as far as us having a live schedule, man, honestly, here lately it's been like once a month, pretty much. We've been going live. Hopefully that increases, but it's been about once a month. The best thing I can tell you is if you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on notifications, you'll get notified 30 minutes before we go live. If you,
we always schedule it up.
I'm gonna take your comment off the screen real quick. You can see Landon, myself, Jared. We all have our Twitter accounts on here. If you want to go follow us on Twitter, we post whenever we go live. Chris doesn't have his on here. You still need to go follow him anyway, especially if you're a fantasy football guy. It's at FFChrisB. He always puts out incredible fantasy football nuggets and good stuff on there. So, he was awesome on here tonight with this as well. But so that's the easiest way to know whenever we go live. But we got, this will be the last 2023, 2024 show. And then we get into the NFL draft stuff where Landon is probably already balls deep and all that with the work that he does on the Blue Stable. So that'll be the next step for us. This will be the last 2023, 2024 NFL season show we'll do. And then we'll dive into the NFL draft where we do some mock drafts and stuff like that.
And we'll do a recap, once the Super Bowl ends, we'll hop on here.
Recap of the show, stuff like that.
Super Bowl and all that stuff. So
yeah,
we appreciate you guys.
Yeah, Matt, same thing, man. If you want to go follow us on Twitter, subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on your notifications, you'll know whenever we go live as well. Weekly would be cool.
I need at least a month to write jokes and comebacks. So.
Boston Brawler, appreciate you. Look, if we have any issues,
Jared can do some more OnlyFans research.
We can always just hire this guy right here to be our ghostwriter if we need
to. I'm for
it. See you next.
I got ChatGPT that just wrote up this entire script for us, so we can put out a show daily if you guys want to.
No, but the chat was a blast, man. Matt, Jorge, Boston Brawler. Even where was our Castillo, our Tampa Bay Bucks fan, Aaron in the chat. The chat was incredible tonight. That was a large part of why this show was so much fun. So consider it done. I'm 40. Hey, you're in good company, man. We're all a bunch of old dudes here too. I'm creeping up on 40 myself. I think we all are. So
I think Jared literally is.
Yeah.
I beg your pardon. I am a young 38 years old.
Yeah, so as I said, we're all creeping. So, but we are just north of the 2-hour mark. So, Landon, I will let you do what you do best and get us out of here, man.
That's right. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you for the comment section. Thank you for all the new subscribers, the new listeners. We appreciate the love, and we want to show it right back to you, obviously. If you have not done it yet, which it looks like some of you have, go ahead, subscribe, follow us on Twitter. Like Drew said, all of our Twitter handles are right in here. You can go ahead, hop on with us anytime. And that being said, we'll see you guys after the Super Bowl.